You're supposed to cheer when the villain loses. That's the deal. They're bad. They get beat. You clap. Roll credits. So here's every time an animated villain actually made you feel bad, even when you really didn't want to. We're starting with the Boogeyman, the literal monster under the bed. In Rise of the Guardians, Pitch Black turns kids' good dreams into nightmares. He's the bad guy. Easy. But here's what the movie sneaks in. Pitch wasn't always the Boogeyman. In the books it's based on, he was a hero named Cosmodus Pitchener, a general, one of the good guys. His whole job was guarding a prison full of evil shadow things called fearlings. He volunteered for it. He sat there for years, all alone, just to keep them locked up. The only thing that kept him going was a picture of his daughter. So the fearlings cheated. They copied his daughter's voice and made him think she was trapped inside. He panicked. He opened the door to save her, and the second he did, they poured into him and turned him into pitch black. He tried to save his kid. That's it. That's the crime. And in the movie, it gets worse. Kids stop believing in him. He becomes the one thing a monster can't survive. Forgotten. He doesn't even want to hurt people. Not really. He just wants someone to remember he's there, even if the only way they remember him is by being scared. At the end, his own nightmares turn on him and drag him under. The Boogeyman gets pulled under the bed by the Boogeyman. Pitch wanted to be believed in. Our next guy got the opposite problem. Everybody believed in him a little too much. Tai Lung is the villain of the first Kung Fu Panda. Big, angry snow leopard. Tries to wreck everybody. But rewind, Tai Lung was a baby, left on the steps of the Jade Palace. Master Shifu took him in and raised him like a son. Loved him. Trained him. And Tai Lung was good. Like, scary good. A Kung Fu prodigy. The best student Shifu ever had. Shifu told him one thing his whole life. You are going to be the Dragon Warrior. Over and over. Train harder. You're the one. You're special. So Tai Lung gave up everything for it. His whole life. His whole self. All for that title. And then Master Oogway looked into his heart, saw darkness, and said no. No scroll. No title. Not him. Tai Lung turned to Shifu, his dad, the guy who promised him all of this, and Shifu just stood there, said nothing, didn't fight for him. That's the part that breaks him. Not losing the title, the silence. He filled my head with dreams, then watched it all get taken away and didn't say a word. So Tai Lung snapped, wrecked the valley, and got locked in a frozen prison for 20 years. And here's the gut punch. When he finally gets the dragon scroll he gave his whole life for, it's blank. There's nothing on it. All of that, for nothing. He's a jerk, sure, but he's a jerk somebody built on purpose. Speaking of guys who never got the praise they were starving for, Scar, the blueprint, kills his own brother, lies to a child, takes the throne. Iconic, evil. And honestly, in the 1994 movie, that's the whole story. No sad backstory, he's just jealous and mean. The film never tries to make you feel bad for him, but then a little Disney show called The Lion Guard came along and went, what if we gave him an excuse? So here's the version they added. Young Scar was the second-born prince. His big brother Mufasa was going to be king. Scar got handed a powerful magic roar and a job protecting the lands. Then a strange lion fills his head with the idea that he should be king. He leads Scar into a trap. A cobra bites him right in the eye. That's the scar. And the venom poisons more than his face. The poison starts pulling out his darkest thoughts. The jealousy, the bitterness. It grows. And after all that, Scar goes to his big brother, hoping to finally get a little respect. Mufasa pats him on the head and gives him a mean nickname instead, Scar. So now he's poisoned, ignored, and stuck being the little brother nobody brags about. Now look, that backstory is a retcon. The real movie says he was just bad. But man, the little brother who's always in the cooler sibling's shadow, that one hits a little too close for some of us. Scar wanted a brother who saw him. Our next villain had that brother and lost him. In Puss in Boots, the bad guy is a talking egg, Humpty Dumpty. He betrays Puss, robs a town, the whole deal. But Puss and Humpty go way back. They grew up together in the same orphanage. They were best friends. They swore they were brothers, like a real blood oath, brothers for life kind of thing. They had one shared dream, find the magic beans and the golden goose. Two lonely orphan kids against the world. Then they grew up, and Puss became a hero. Puss found a town that loved him, a mom who was proud of him. A whole life. Humpty got none of that. He was still the weird egg nobody wanted. So one night a plan went wrong. Puss ran off to be the good guy, and Humpty got left behind, arrested, alone. That's where the bitterness starts. Not really the magic beans. It's that his brother got a family, and he didn't. So Humpty spends years building a revenge plan against the one person who was supposed to never leave him. But here's the thing. At the end, when his plan brings a giant monster down on the town, Humpty doesn't run. He grabs the rope, looks at Puss, says, "Sorry," and lets go. He falls so Puss can save everyone. And when his shell cracks open, there's gold inside. He really was good. The whole time, he just got left behind first. Humpty got dropped by his brother. This next one got dropped by his kid. Lotso, the pink teddy bear that smells like strawberries and runs a daycare like a prison. But once upon a time, Lotso was somebody's favorite toy. A little girl named Daisy got him for Christmas and loved him to pieces. He was the bear, the chosen one of the toy box. Then one day, Daisy and her family went on a trip, stopped for a picnic, and accidentally left Lotso behind. Him and 2 other toys. Just forgot them in a field. So Lotso didn't give up. He walked for a long time, all the way back home to his kid. And when he finally made it, he looked in the window and saw Daisy hugging a brand new Lotso. Same bear, already replaced. That's the moment that ends him. The kid he crossed the whole world for had already moved on. And here's the cruel part. Daisy didn't even know he was lost. Her parents just bought a copy. She probably loved him the whole time. He never found out. But Lotso decided love was a lie. He told the other left behind toys that they all got replaced too, which wasn't even true. Only he did. He just wanted company in the misery. So he took his heartbreak and built a whole tiny prison around it. Lotso wasn't born mean. He was a good toy who got thrown away once and decided to never feel that again. Lotso couldn't let go of his past. This next guy spent 400 years trying to delete his. In K-pop Demon Hunters, Jinu leads the Saja Boys, a demon boy band trying to steal everyone's soul. Bad guy, glowing eyes and everything. But 400 years ago, Jinu was just a poor kid. Dirt poor. He played music on the street to feed his mom and his little sister. Then, the demon king Gui Ma showed up with a deal. A beautiful voice, fame, money, a way out. And Jinu took it. But here's the honest part, and the movie is sneaky about this. The deal only saved him, not his family. When he walked into his fancy new palace life, he left his mom and sister behind, in the dirt. He chose the good life over them. And the guilt ate him alive, slowly. Dark demon marks crawled across his skin, one for every ounce of shame, until he wasn't a man anymore. He was a demon, bound to Gui Ma for 400 years. His whole evil plan? He just wanted Gui Ma to erase the memory. He didn't want power, he wanted to forget what he did. Then he meets Rumi, who's also hiding who she really is. And for the first time in centuries, he doesn't feel so alone. He lies to her about his past at first, too ashamed to tell the truth. But at the very end, when Gui Ma tries to finish her, Jinu steps in front of the blast. He gives her his soul to make her strong enough to win. "You gave me my soul back," he says, "and now I give it to you." Jinu lost his family because of one choice. This next guy lost his because of one rule. Miguel O'Hara, the scary Spider-Man with the claws who chases Miles across the whole multiverse. Everybody clocks him as the villain, but Miguel isn't evil. He's wrecked. See, somewhere out there, Miguel found a universe where he had a daughter, a family, a normal, happy life. So he stepped into it and lived it. The problem? That wasn't his world. He didn't belong there, and because he stayed, that whole universe started falling apart. He had to stand there and watch his daughter, his whole family, fade away in front of him, because of him, because he wanted to be happy. So after that, Miguel makes a rule. He decides that some bad things have to happen, that heroes have to lose people or the universe breaks, no exceptions. And then a kid named Miles wants to save his own dad, and Miguel says no, you can't, it's the rule. He's not being cruel for fun. In his head, he's the only one strong enough to make the hard call. He thinks he's protecting everything. That's the scariest kind of villain, the one who's sure he's the hero, the one who's hurting you for your own good, with tears in his eyes. Miguel broke one rule once, and it cost him everyone. So now he'd rather be hated than ever feel that again. Miguel thought he was the hero and turned into the villain. Our last guy got told he was the villain and chose to become the hero. And we end with the big blue head himself, Megamind. His story actually starts the same as a hero's. Baby alien, dying planet, tiny escape pod sent to Earth. Sound familiar? It's a Superman origin. Except his pod landed in a prison, so he got raised by inmates, and right away the world made up its mind about him. The smart kid who looked different was the bad guy, always picked last, always the screw-up. No matter how hard he tried to be good, nobody let him. So eventually he just gave up and took the only role anybody would hand him, villain, because at least that was something. And for years that's all he is, the bad guy chasing the hero. But then he actually wins. He beats the hero, and instead of feeling great, he feels empty. Turns out, being the villain was never really who he was. It was just the costume the world stuck him in. So here's the part that matters. Megamind had every excuse to stay bad. The city hated him his whole life, gave him nothing. He could have burned it all down and called it fair. Instead, he chooses to save it. He becomes the hero nobody ever let him be, for the people who never gave him a chance. Every other villain on this list got cracked and stayed cracked. Megamind got cracked the same way and decided not to let it win, which is kind of the whole point. So which one made you feel the worst? Drop it in the comments. I actually read them. And if you want more breakdowns like this, you know what the button does. Subscribe. I'm out. Go be a little nicer to the bad guy. Just a little.